A lot of law firms have a growth problem, but it's probably not the one they're focused on. It's not about just working harder, it's about the actual system they're using. So in this explainer, we're going to walk you through a roadmap to build a powerful new engine for your firm's success.
Okay, but first, let me ask you something really important. Just think for a second about your firm's marketing, your new clients. Does it all pretty much rest on the shoulders of one, maybe two key partners? And look, if the answer is yes, you're definitely not alone, but it's a huge risk for your firm's future.
That traditional rainmaker model, the one built on personal networks and endless steak lunches, it's not just that it takes up a ton of time. It just doesn't scale. The world has gone online, and for your firm to have any kind of sustainable growth, your marketing system has to follow. It's time for something new.
So, here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll talk a little more about why we need to move beyond the rainmaker model. Then, we'll get into the good stuff, a 9-stage growth roadmap. We'll break down the phases, see how this whole approach stacks up against the alternatives, and end with a really powerful shift in thinking, building assets, not just chasing leads.
So let's start right at the beginning and really understand the core problem, because you can't build a new, better system until you can see all the cracks in the old one.
All right, so here's the bottom line. Relying on a rainmaker creates a massive bottleneck. I mean, there are only so many hours in the day, right? That puts a hard ceiling on your growth. And what's even worse is the risk. When that person's relationships are the firm's main asset, well, that asset can walk right out the door at any time.
Okay, now for the exciting part, the actual solution. And this isn't about making your partners work even harder. No way. It's about giving them a smarter map to follow, a clear, predictable journey to get from where you are today to where you really want to be.
And here it is. Think of this 9-stage roadmap as your GPS for growth. It's designed to put you and your entire team in the driver's seat of your firm's future, with a clear, step-by-step path to follow.
We've broken this whole thing down into 3 really clear phases. First, you've got setup, where you lay the strategic foundation. Then you build, where you construct your marketing engine. And finally, you drive, where you really hit the accelerator. And each phase builds directly on the one before it.
All right, let's dive into that first super important phase, the setup. This is where all the groundwork happens.
Now, these first 3 stages are all about strategy, not tactics. First, you got to get real about where you are right now. That's stage 1. Then stage 2 is all about carving out your perfect niche. We call it your home zone. And then, with stage 3, you actually plan out the entire journey before you spend a single cent on ads.
Okay, so once that strategic foundation is solid, it's time for action. This is where we get into the build and drive phases, where you literally build the marketing machine and then floor it.
These next 6 stages are where the engine really comes to life. It kicks off with crafting offers that your ideal clients just can't say no to. Then you push those out across 4 key marketing channels. But, and this is what makes it so different, you weave all of this into your firm's culture and your day-to-day operations. See, marketing stops being this separate thing and becomes part of who you are. The whole system works together to systematically build your audience.
Now, don't worry about trying to decipher this whole diagram at a glance. The key takeaway, the real end game, is right there at the bottom. The goal isn't just to generate a few leads. It's to build a complete ecosystem that turns your happy clients into your most powerful marketing channel, active advocates who champion your firm.
So, you might be sitting there wondering, okay, this sounds good, but how does it compare to other methods out there? That's a great question. Let's stack this model up against a couple of the common alternatives.
First up, aggregator sites. The big legal directories. With them, you're basically just renting space right next to all your competitors. They own the audience, not you. This model completely flips that on its head. The focus is on creating your own value-driven hub so you own your prospect list. That's a real asset.
All right, next, let's look at those generic consultant funnels. They can be great for getting a client in the door, but then what? They almost always stop right there at acquisition. This system is completely different because it's designed from the ground up for what happens after the sale, fusing loyalty and referral marketing right into its DNA to not just get clients, but to keep and grow them.
And that whole comparison brings us to what might be the single most important idea in this entire explainer. It's a fundamental shift in how you need to think about your marketing.
This quote really just gets right to the heart of it. This system, this Weibo model, is specifically for firms that want to do more than just generate cash flow. It's for firms that want to build long-term, durable asset value.
So what do we really mean by asset value? We're talking about ownable, scalable resources that belong to the firm. Things like your client and prospect lists, a list you actually own, or proprietary tools, maybe even a simple app for your clients, and a brand reputation that drives referrals automatically. These are assets that stay with the firm, no matter who comes or goes.
And this right here, this is the perfect picture of that transformation. It's about evolving beyond just being the expert with a briefcase. It's about using technology to put your firm's expertise right on your client's phone, making you a partner they literally can't imagine working without.
And this is what it all leads to. Growth is no longer fragile and dependent on one person. It becomes a reliable system that your entire team can get behind and help drive forward. It truly institutionalizes your success.
So we'll leave you with this one last thought. Take an honest look at your firm's growth strategy right now. Who or what is really in the driver's seat? Is it a person or is it a system?